Okay, so I want to highlight the discrepancies that I'm noticing between the book versus the motion in limine that was filed with the courts. And basically what that motion means is that any evidence, pre-trial, any evidence is either accepted or rejected as evidence before the trial. So I want to highlight the discrepancies that I've noticed. And so we're on chapter 18, and this is part 2. So if you haven't watched part 1, go back to my videos, watch part 1, and get caught up. We left off at 4 a.m., and according to the book, that's the time that Xana's food arrives. Okay? But according to the motion, at 4 a.m. is when DM hears these strange noises and crying from the bathroom. She also sees the man dressed in black wearing a mask. And I can show you that. Here, let me show you. So at approximately 4 a.m., DM heard strange noises and crying coming from the bathroom. She opened her door at one point and saw a man dressed in black with a ski mask and walking by her bedroom door. She then placed calls and texts to her other roommates to see if they were awake. Only BF answered. She spoke to BF for 24 seconds. And that's when DM tells BF she heard something. Well, according to this book, at 4:17 a.m., Dylan's in her bed, drifting in and out of sleep. The walls in her bedroom are still paper thin. I underlined that because I think that's important to note that the walls were thin, so you're able to hear any noise going around or the chaos in that house. And so next thing she hears is the familiar stomping as they go up the stairs. She can dimly hear music from one of their bedrooms, but then everything turns surreal. Not sure whether she's dreaming or awake, she thinks she hears someone frantically say, "There's someone here." Huh? That doesn't seem right. And yet it also does, because so many people come in and out of the house. Okay? So she gets up and opens the door, nothing. Dylan goes back to bed. Then she hears someone crying. This is Nana. That's when she gets up a second time and opens the door a second time. And she hears the male voice saying, "It's okay, I'm here to help you." Then she hears a thud, the dog barking, closes the door, and silence. And she opens the door a third time. That's when she sees a firefighter, or at least that's what she thinks she sees. Bushy eyebrows, wearing a mask, and he's holding something that looks like a vacuum, she says. And I think it's interesting that she locked eyes with this person, with a complete stranger, which honestly made her afraid because she goes for her taser and it's Dad, so she thinks of phoning Bethany, which is the first time. It's interesting the call log only shows the call from Bethany. So according to the motion, the first time Dylan contacts Bethany is at 4:19 a.m. for 23 seconds. I can show you that. Hold on. So we're back over here, and it says, they spoke again. A minute later, for 41 seconds, when DM told BF she saw a man in a ski mask leaving the house. They then exchanged the following text messages between 4:22 and 4:26. So she sees him leaving the house. Dylan texts Bethany that the tragically obvious, no one is answering. And then I'm really confused. And then she texts Kaylee again, Kaylee, what's going on? And there's no reply. So this is when the text messages begin at 4:22 a.m., which basically coincides with the motion, which is obvious because I guess when it comes to digital data, that's like pure evidence. And like I said before, it's possible that James Patterson is going off the either the police records or the motion at this point, because that's when the text messages begin. The text messages begin based on the motion. So at this point, we're now at 4:24 a.m., where Dylan is thinking about making a run for it to Bethany's room, because there's text exchanges going back and forth between the two girls between 4:22 and 4:26 a.m. based on the motion. And as you can see, finally Bethany tells DM, I don't know, but it's better than being alone. So Bethany was telling Dylan to make a run for it, come downstairs. I have that text over here somewhere. Where is it? 4:24, here we go. Dylan tells Bethany, my phone is going to die, fuck. Then Bethany says, come to my room, run. Down here. Dylan texts Ethan one last time, she says. And at 4:27, it seems like she finally makes a run for it. Because it says right here that during the exchanges, she tried calling Kaylee again and Xana. No one responded. And that's when Dylan exited her room and she began toward Bethany's bedroom. On her way, she noticed Xana lying on the floor of her bedroom with her head towards the wall and her feet towards the door. DM thought Xana was drunk, which is not in the book, you guys. It's not in the book at all. In the book, what we have is all those text message exchanges, right? You see all the text message exchanges. Then at 4:24 a.m., can Dylan run? Is it safe? Dylan tries Ethan's cell once more. She and Bethany have another quick exchange. At 4:27 a.m., she tries Kaylee again, and then Xana. Still nothing. That's when she decides to make a run for it. She sprints to Bethany's room. The two friends cling to one another. They keep trying to reach their roommates. Bethany tries Maddie twice, Kaylee twice. Dylan texts Kaylee. Bethany goes on Snap and Instagram for clues. Nothing. 4:37. So this is interesting here. Let's see what the motion says. So here it says DM arrives at BF's room. They lock the door. Made additional calls. No one is answering. And at 4:32, one last text to Kaylee, please answer. Yeah, then we see Bethany calling Madison twice, Kaylee twice. And at 4:32, there's that last text message from Dylan to Kaylee saying, please answer. And at 4:34, Bethany accessed Snapchat. At 4:37, she accessed Instagram. This is when they say they're looking for clues, but they pass out 10 minutes later, and then that's the last thing, the last activity on their phone until the next morning. So this is part 2 and maybe the last part of chapter 18. I'm not sure how much more I'm gonna go into this, and we just have to take everything with a grain of salt at this point because we don't know what's true.